Hey there, YouTube. We are installing Linux Ubuntu via a USB thumb drive. If you do not know how to boot a live CD via Linux, you missed step 1. Please refer to this tutorial video. Alright, so here we are installing a live disk of Linux Ubuntu, my favorite version of Linux, and definitely the user-friendly introductory level to Linux. So it takes a while to install a live disk, depending upon which computers you're using. If it's a slower, older computer, it's going to take a while. This is a bit of a newer computer, and it's still taking some time. So I know that everything's up and running on my live disk because I can see the little icons at the top left, the install Ubuntu and the version number, the examples. On the left-hand side is a little bit of a column, your taskbar, if you will. On Windows, it's generally on the bottom of the screen. This is all fully customizable inside Linux, but we're not gonna get into that too much. So right here on the live disk, it comes with an install option. Right from here, we could choose to install the disk, or excuse me, install the operating system directly to our hard disk. Alright, but we're not really doing that right now. I'm going to show you real quick what it looks like. So it's going to give you this little bit of a page, but we're not really doing this right now. We're trying to install it to a thumb drive. And let me show you how to do this the hands-off, easy way. And bear with me, this is not scripted. This is a live walkthrough of the install. So at the top of the top left-hand corner, or on my taskbar, like the Windows button on Windows, you have the Ubuntu button, and it pulls up a little Finder type application, and I'm going to type disk into the little phrase bar, whatever you want to call it, and it's going to pop up a few options. Now my goal is to create a USB thumb drive. I want to have basically a hard drive that is portable, that can hold files. So right here we see under create disk, under make a startup disk, I could choose to make another CD, but I don't need that because I've already made a CD. What I have here is the option to choose my PNY USB 2.0 thumb drive. And it says that it's got some capacity there. It's 3.8 gigs total, and some of it's been used. 2.3 gigabytes have been used. So I'm going to want to obviously clear that out or save files that are on there if those files are important. In this case, those files are not. I have no idea what's on there. I'm just going to go ahead and overwrite it. And you can see there's a number of other options here. We can choose how much of the disk we want to use for this OS. So if I wanted to save, like, have multiple partitions on my thumb drive and save some of that space for other files or whatever other task you want, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use the whole disk. So are you sure you want to erase the disk? Yes, I want to wipe out the whole disk. So now that I've wiped out the whole disk, I'm going to go ahead and have more room to install my Ubuntu. Now the difference between a live CD and booting via USB thumb drive, with a live CD, every time I boot, I'm going to have out of the box standard pre-config settings. Everything's going to be exactly the same, which is fine, especially in live disk mode. I mean, if you really want to use Linux, you need to install Linux. But with the USB file, I'm actually going to have the options to maintain some updates, to store files inside of this USB thumb drive. A lot of the things I like to do with a USB thumb drive and live disks is check computers. If Windows is in a critical fail, if we're having serious problems with Windows, the first thing I do is pop in a Linux Live CD. If the Linux Live CD runs, we know the motherboard, the processor, and the RAM are functioning just fine. From there, we can test the hard drive, we can test any other peripherals, we can test all our devices. It's a very powerful tool when configuring and troubleshooting a PC that's having some problems. All right, so that easy. Now there's other ways to do this. Ubuntu, you can USB thumb disk, you can install it by hand, but it gets extremely complicated for beginners, and this is the most hands-off way to do it. All right. So now I've installed Ubuntu on this thumb drive. What I have to do now is tell my motherboard that when I boot this computer, I want it to boot from that USB thumb drive instead of from my CD drive. Now again, if you're confused about how to boot from different drives other than the standard drive where your Windows is installed, please refer to my tutorial about BIOS and choosing your boot options. So there's no CD. I took the CD out. Alright, and now I'm just booting up my computer. And this does take some time, so when you're doing this, make sure you have a little snack. So right now I'm in BIOS, and if you don't know how to access BIOS, you need to refer to my BIOS tutorial. It's usually by pressing delete or F1 at the beginning of your startup. One of the BIOS options is called a boot menu. Alright, generally you can go straight to your boot menu and bypass BIOS and go straight to the BIOS boot menu for an even faster choice of this option. So here you'll see you have all these different drives on my computer. I've got CD drives, hard drives. There is my PNY USB 2.0 4 gigabyte thumb drive, USB stick, whatever you choose to call it. So here's my computer. You saw how fast it booted up that little logo right there. That's a symbol that Ubuntu is getting down. It's starting, and you got a little flashy cursor up in the top left-hand screen. Don't worry, don't be afraid. It's gonna work. Bam. Now it is a little bit slow booting off the USB stick and off live CDs. It's just something you have to wait for. All right, so. I skipped forward a little bit because it was a few minute wait, and now I get to the option try Ubuntu or install Ubuntu. Now directly from the USB stick, I could install Ubuntu right here, but I clicked try Ubuntu because I don't want to install it right now. And it takes a minute. You just have to be patient. It's all worth it. Learning how to do this. This is not Windows. You're not going to just have plug and play experience. So here I want to show you that my CD player or my DVD player is empty, and it is the USB stick that's driving this little bus here. Super simple. Super simple. So basically that USB stick is acting as if it was a hard drive right now. Oh, here we go. Okay, we're fully booted. I can see my little icons. That's important. So now I know that I can start tinkering around. So just to show you guys how this works, I'm going to do a very simple configuration. I am going to configure the desktop to have a specific picture in the background, showing you customizations. Okay? Now, keep in mind, when you're running a USB stick, if I was to update this USB stick to run for my computer with all the updates, all the configurations. When I take this USB stick to another computer, we could have some problems. Let me rephrase that. You will have some problems. So I'm going to leave my USB thumb drive pretty bare. This is a troubleshooting tool. I don't want to be doing any fancy effects with this. If you want the fancy effects with Linux, you install it. And just again to show you that the CD drive is empty. Boom. And also the Blu-ray DVD drive, just in case people thought I was trying to be sneaky. So anyway, back to our Ubuntu page. So now that I'm booted off the live disk, the USB disk, I went online and I got myself a little photo. Pretty simple trick. I could keep a few photos, I could keep some music, I could keep any kind of software I want. I could use this USB stick to access files from the hard drive, store them on the USB stick, and then leave the scene if I wanted to do something malicious. I usually do work-related activities I have no desire to do. There comes a point in hacking where you realize that your skills are worth more in the legal world than they are stealing. I can make more money performing legal tasks than I can from hacking and stealing and thriving. Well, I mean, I guess you're a really good hacker and you're living in South America somewhere or safe from any kind of authority and you're able to make some money, good for you or whatever. But in the civilized world, if you have these skills, you can generate more income, or at least enough income that you don't need to steal anything. So, there's my little desktop background photo. Nice, right? I don't know. I'm not going for any kind of award or anything here. I just threw up a little ISIS photo just to get this ball rolling. Next, I'm going to take this USB stick over to my laptop. I'm going to boot it up right off my laptop, so you're going to get a little bit of a BIOS preview anyway. Seeing as how the BIOS preview that I demonstrated was for an advanced BIOS, which is a more modern BIOS that actually works with the mouse and has some GUIs and a little point and click type atmosphere, which is nice, but you don't need it. BIOS is so simple, all you need is the up and down keys. So there you have it. A photo that we're going to take to any computer we want. A customized USB stick. Alright, so here we are in the BIOS of my laptop, and I'm just straight in the boot menu. I'm going to reset it to show you how to get here. Okay? Or not. I could have swore I reset. Okay, yeah, here we go. So here I am looking at the screen. Watch the bottom. Watch the bottom. Now you can't see it, but there's a bar there. Alright, that bar has codes. Right? And they say things like F1, F5, F10, delete. I chose the boot menu option. Now you may need to restart your computer several times. If you're in BIOS, Control-Alt-Delete resets the computer. Try it. Turn on your computer, hit Control-Alt-Delete. As soon as your little BIOS motherboard logo pops up, and you'll get to see the codes at the bottom. Again, refer to my BIOS tutorial if you are confused about how BIOS works. So here I chose to boot from the USB stick. Now it's showing the regular background right now because it's in boot mode. Just notice how there's no icons on the top left-hand corner of the screen. You got to wait for it. Wait for it. It's coming. Oh, of course. Excuse me. I forgot. This USB stick is going to ask you if you want to try or install Ubuntu first. Again, we're going to choose try Ubuntu because we're not installing. We're just using the the USB stick or live disk or whatever as a testing ground. So I chose try Ubuntu, and it takes a minute. This is a good time to get some coffee or use the restroom or call your girlfriend or whatever like that, if you have a girlfriend. Wait for it. There's the little USB stick. It's the same one from my PC, from my desktop. Boom. Loads. How do you like that? You like it? I know you want it. I know you want it. Patriot2.0.com. I'm going to show you everything about getting over to Linux. Sign up. Like, subscribe.